Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me on this YouTube channel. Today we are doing a splits power flow. So I would recommend having some blocks to support you in your practice today. If you don't have blocks, grabbing some books or an alternative. And this practice is suitable for someone who already has an existing yoga practice, but if you're not doing splits in your practice, that is absolutely fine. We're going to have different options, and it might be a case that you are not feeling for the splits today, so you do not have to take it. It's just an option that's there, and we're going to be doing those kinds of movements in this practice. So it's going to be dynamic, it's going to be fun, energizing. So we'll come into a comfortable seated position to start the class. And once you're there, I want you to bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close down your eyes or take a steady gaze out in front. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the belly expand with your breath. And then on your exhales, as you breathe out, I want you to imagine letting go, emptying out any stress, any tension, letting go of anything not serving you, anything that came before this practice, or any thoughts of what might be coming after this practice. Letting that go now. Just being here. Notice the connection between your hands and these areas of the body. And let the neck and the shoulders relax, the shoulder blades. Opening the eyes back up now, releasing the hands. We're going to bring our legs into a wide leg position. So just remembering we're at the beginning of the practice, so it doesn't matter how wide or not the legs come. The main thing that we want to check alignment wise here is that we want the thighs facing up towards the ceiling. So even if you need to have a little bit of a bend in the legs, that's okay, but we want the thighs to stay facing upwards. So we're going to inhale, sweep the left fingertips up, lift up and out from the waist. As you exhale, take a stretch over to the right. So you could be staying a lot higher up here, keeping that space across the chest. Maybe that left hand comes down to the right toes, but you're still shining the heart towards the ceiling. Stretching into the left side of the body. Breathing here. Inhale, come back through to center, sweep it over to the other side. So stretching over to the left now. Allowing the right side of the body to open. Scanning into those muscles. Stretching, observing. Really connecting to that awareness. Interoception. So this is when we're moving, but this becomes embodied movement when we're bringing awareness into the body as we move. So focusing on our breath, focusing on what is alive within our body. Coming back to center. Now we're going to take a forward fold. So inhaling here, reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, start to come forwards. And again, this could be a very small movement at the beginning of the practice. It doesn't have to be super deep into the fold. And again, just checking in that we want our thighs facing up to the ceiling here. So if your legs have a tendency to roll in here, then you want to come back to that alignment, flex the feet, and then work from there. Coming back to those slow, soft breaths. Inhale, start to lift the chest, walk the hands back in, coming up to center. Bring your legs back in and come into tabletop position, tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting those hips to the sky. Press the mat away with your hands, press into the thumb and the first finger. Inhale, come up on the toes, so heels lifting away from the mat. Shift the heels over to the right. Bend through the legs. Find that stretch here into the left side body. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, take it over to the other side. Heels shift over to the left. Bend through the legs. Find that stretch into the right side of the body. And come back to center. Well done. Exhale, draw your heels down towards the mat. Doesn't matter how far down they come. Breathing here. So starting to get straight into it today. Inhale, reach that right leg up to the sky. Find your three-leg dog. You can open the hips. Keep the shoulders nice and strong. Sweep your right leg through between the hands. Keep the left hand grounded. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up to the sky, finding that easy twist. From here, we're going to come into our revolved Skandasana. So coming into the outside edge of the right foot, float that right arm down. Deep stretch into this right hip space. I love this one. It can feel super strong. Inhale, come back so that you're facing forwards again. Ground both hands into the mat. You're going to lift your right foot away, so right knee's bent, and then bring your right foot to the outside of the left hand. Open up into your fallen triangle. So left hand's either reaching up to the sky or up and over towards that left ear. Breathing here. One of my favourite poses. Now from here, coming into a dynamic transition. So don't worry if you're finding that you're rolling or shuffling around here. That's all okay. So we're going to sit the hips down from here to the mat. So I know I've got my back to you now. So you're coming down into a wide leg position from your fallen triangle. We're going to come back to those stretches that we did at the beginning of the practice. So flow over to the left side, stretching over that left leg. Doesn't matter how deep you come into the stretch. Breathing here. Inhale back through center. Exhale over to the right. So getting nice and stretchy today. Inhale back to center. And then on the exhale, seeing if you can fold forwards. So it doesn't matter how far into the fold you come, just remembering that we're at the beginning of the practice. Breathing here. Inhale, come back up to center. Now we're going to try and make our way back to our fallen triangle. Okay, so the right hand is coming down to the mat on the outside of your right leg. So we're going to really ground into that right hand. Inhale, lift the hips away, make your way back to that fallen triangle position. Don't worry if you've got a little confused here. And then float your left hand down to the mat. Release that right leg from the fallen triangle and step it through between the hands. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. You're in a high lunge, crescent lunge. Inhale, lifting up and out from the waist. From here, powering into that right leg, find a standing split. So left leg's reaching up to the sky. Option to wrap that right hand around the back of the right leg. Opening into the hips. Finding that breath. Releasing from your standing split. Can you take a big step back with the left leg? So you're coming back to your high lunge. Drop your back knee down so you're in a low lunge. Inhale, lift the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, cactus the arms. Breathing here. Making sure that you're activated through that front right leg. The right glutes are working. From here, we're going to start to shift the weight into the back left leg to find our half split position. So right foot's flexed, right leg's lengthening. Hands can come to blocks here if you need to. Seeing if you can maybe take a little fold over this right leg. Inhale, come back to that low lunge position, ground through the hands, step that right foot back to downward facing dog. Well done. Inhale, shift the shoulders forward so that you're in plank. Move through your chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side now. We inhale, sweep the left leg. Find up to the sky. Find your three-leg dog. Breathing here, opening the hips. And sweep that left leg through between the hands. Reach the left arm up to the sky. Find your easy twist. From here, pivoting round to find revolved Skandasana. It's coming onto the outside edge of that left foot. Breathing. Well done. Inhale. Come back so that both hands are grounded on the mat. Then we're going to lift this left foot away. Bring the left foot to the outside of the right hand. Sweep your right arm up to the sky, fallen triangle. From here, see if with control you can let those hips float down to the mat. So we're coming into a wide leg position. So try not to move your legs here. So this is the key for when we make our way back, is staying in this wide leg position that you come down into. So that might not look exactly how I look, and that's okay. Be where you are. So inhale, exhale, stretch over to the right side. Find your breath. Inhale back through to center. Exhale over to the left side. Shining that heart towards the ceiling. Keep your space across your chest. If you're finding that you're rounding the spine at all here when you're doing these stretches, then you might need to reduce your range of movement and just come back to where you need to be, where you can keep that space across your chest. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, now we take the fold forward, so walking those hands forward. Try and keep the spine long, thighs facing up to the ceiling. One more breath here. And inhale, come back up. So now we're going to make our way back to fallen triangle. So left hand's going to come down to the mat. So my left hand's on the outside of my left leg. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. We're just lifting the hips. Coming back to that fallen triangle position or thereabouts. No worries if it's not exactly right. And then bring your right hand back down to the mat. Scoop that left leg up. Step it through between the hands. Inhale. High lunge. Lifting up and out from the waist. Well done. From here, we power through into that left leg. Sweep the right leg up to the sky, finding your standing split. Left hand can wrap around that left leg if that feels good too. Well done. Take a big step back. So we're making our way back to that high lunge. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, lift up and out from the waist. So in a low lunge now. Exhale, cactus the arms, open across the chest. Breathing here. So really getting into those legs and those hips today. So this is a really good practice even if you're not necessarily looking to work on your splits, but you really want that nice juicy stretch into the legs and the hips. Maybe you could be doing a lot of running or sports where things are a little bit tight. This could be a really great practice for you. Then we're going to exhale, shift the weight back into that right leg. So finding our half split, so left leg's lengthening. Try and keep your spine long here. You always have the option to use your blocks, okay? So the blocks give you that space, which means you can keep your spinal alignment. It means you can keep your spine long and you can keep your space across the chest rather than rounding here because you haven't got enough space. So that's what we can use our blocks to support us in our practice for. You can fold over this front leg if that feels good too. Intensifying the stretch. Shift the weight back into that front leg, hands grounding down to the mat, and we sweep the left leg back, meeting in a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards, find your plank position, work through your chaturanga, inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra, and exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Reconnect with your breath here. Take a moment to check in with your body, how everything's feeling, bringing that awareness inwards. Inhale, sweep the right leg up to the sky, three-leg dog. Float the right foot through between the hands, reach the fingertips up to the skies, coming back to your high lunge. Draw your left heel down to the mat, open up, find warrior two. Send your gaze over the right fingertips. Now from here, start to lengthen through your right leg. Inhale, reach forwards, forwards, forwards with those right fingertips. Tipping from the waist, open up, Trikonasana. Send your gaze up to the ceiling. Press the feet down and away into the mat. Imagine shooting energy through those left fingertips up to the sky. Inhale, come back to that warrior two position. And we're going to float the arms around to frame that front foot. Drop your back knee down so we're back in our low lunge here on the right side. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, cactus. Now from here, you're either going to be working maybe with some blocks, staying with your low lunge, floating into half split, back to your low lunge, okay? So taking 3 breaths in each position, floating from one from the other. So that is a great exercise if you're working with your splits. Your next option, if you're coming down a little bit deeper, is you're going to get your blocks. So you could have your blocks on the higher setting, and you could be starting to work with that split transition here, but really grounding through the hands into the blocks to support you. You could be bringing the blocks down on the lower setting and starting to come down lower. And of course, if splits is in your practice, then you're just bringing the hands down to the mat, making sure that you've got that back thigh tucked under. Breathing here. So be wherever you need to be today, letting go as much as you can of ego, of what ego might be saying you should be doing or you could be doing, and just be here right now, listening to your body, honouring your body. So one more breath, whichever option you've taken. Nice way to come out of the splits is you can use your blocks to make your way back to that low lunge. Tuck under the back toes and step that right foot back so you're in your downward facing dog. Nice, well done. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards to plank. Work through your chaturanga, inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Now we move on to left side. Inhale, sweep the left leg up to the sky. 3-leg dog. Keep the leg straight. Sweep your left leg through between the hands. Reach the fingertips up to the sky. Find that high lunge. Draw your right heel down, open out, find your warrior 2. Relax your shoulders, send the gaze over your left fingertips. Lengthen through your left leg. Inhale, reach forwards, forwards, forwards with those left fingertips. Open out into your Trikonasana. Right fingertips reaching up to the sky. Breathing here. Inhale, make your way back to warrior 2. Float the hands around to frame that front foot. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. Exhale, we cactus. So you know what's coming here. So you're either going to work with low lunge to half split. Okay, you could be using your blocks. Just checking when you're in your low lunge, you want the knee aligned with the ankle. Or you're using your blocks to start to work with coming deeper into your splits variation. So using those blocks for support, never forcing anything, just listening to your body and what feels right for you. Bringing your awareness back to the breath. Noticing what your breathing could be communicating to you, telling you about what is alive within you today. As we know, in splits and in lots of different things actually, our body is often quite different on different sides, and that's okay. It's okay if one side is feeling that there's a lot more resistance than the other side. That's very common. So one more breath here. Then you can use your blocks to help you make your way back to that low lunge position. Hands are going to frame that front foot. Step that front foot back to your downward facing dog. Well done. We're going to take a final vinyasa here. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards to plank. Move through, inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Hips are lifting to the sky. Come up on your toes, walk the feet through in towards the hands, or take your jump through, woo, if that's in your practice. And we're going to bring the hips down to the mat. Bringing the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop out to the side, finding our Baddha Konasana position. Hands are coming to rest on the ankles. You can take blocks under the thighs here if you need to. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, open across the chest, make space. Exhale, maybe you start to take a fold forwards here, but keeping the spine long. So opening into that hip space. Finding your breath. Inhale, lift the chest, come away from the fold back to center, bring your hands on your knees, draw your knees in together, and one of my absolute favorites, wrap your arms around your legs. Take a deep exhale, drop your forehead down towards the knees, close the eyes, curling up into this ball, feeling that rounding through the spine. Inhale, lift the gaze, come back to your comfortable seated position on the mat. And as always, if you have more time, I definitely recommend doing a longer Shavasana meditation. But thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this practice, please do subscribe to this channel. Do check out my Mindful Mornings series on here. There's a series of morning flows where we will talk through, learn a little bit more about philosophy and bring some lovely intentions into the day with us. So they're great practices to pop on in the morning especially, but any time of day, and it's a lovely series that takes you through the yamas and niyamas, the internal and external behaviours that we look at in yoga. So yeah, do check that out, and do subscribe to this channel. It's completely free. Link below to other things that I offer, and I cannot wait to see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.